Hello, I'm Product Manager Martin Brennand, and welcome to this quick overview of what's new inside Mocha Pro and Mocha Plus 4.1. We've introduced open splines to both Mocha Pro and Mocha Plus. To draw an open spline, you simply draw a shape as you normally would, and then hold Shift and right-click to open the spline. You can then tweak your open spline as you would any other shape. If you want to close or open any existing shape, you can use the Tools menu to choose Close Selected Splines or Open Selected Splines, and these have their shortcuts O and C. Open splines don't have their own tracking mats, so you can link them to any existing track and it will follow along. You can then adjust the open spline using that linked track. Open spline export is currently supported for After Effects and Nuke. To export to After Effects, just copy the shape data to the clipboard as you would any other shape. Over in After Effects, just select your layer and then choose Paste Mocha Mask from the Edit menu. This generates the open spline and the layer controls with all of the standard properties. You can then apply whichever effect you would like to the tracked open spline, such as the Generate Stroke effect to create edges with your Roto, particle effects that follow a path, or text effects that warp to the mask. All of these effects will then follow along with the tracked spline that you brought in from Mocha. Mocha Pro can now export to the Spline Warp node for Nuke to make tracked warps a lot easier. In this example, we've drawn an open spline along the eyebrow, and then linked it to a boundary tracking shape. We then choose Nuke SplineWarp from the shape exports, and choose all visible layers to make sure we export the eyebrow shape and the surrounding eyebrow tracking shape, and then we click Copy to the clipboard. Over in Nuke, we select the read node we want to warp, and then paste in the data. Inside the Spline Warp node, we automatically generate 2 joined warp splines per shape to make it easier to begin warping. For the outside shape that will control the boundary of the warp, we only need 1 spline, so we just delete the extra. We can then start to warp the eyebrow in the viewer using the open spline we exported from Mocha. Once we have the warp we like, it will automatically move correctly with the rest of the shot using the tracked shapes we imported from Mocha. To make it easy to cycle through control points, we've added 2 new shortcuts, Next Control Point and Previous Control Point. These let you cycle quickly along to the next point when you have to do a lot of small adjustments across the whole shape. Mocha 4.1 now supports multi-part OpenEXR2 files. When you have loaded a multi-part EXR into a new project, the different footage streams will be available in the Streams drop-down in the Clip tab. You can then assign them to your different views accordingly. We have also improved the camera solver to provide much more reliable results when shifting the surface position. Now when you adjust the surface, the solve quality will remain much more consistent. You can also save the solve data so you don't need to solve again when you reopen the project. Finally, for Mocha Pro users, we've added a huge amount of new Python functionality. First up is the initPy script. This script can be edited to load different functions on startup and is especially handy for making your own customized tools. Here, we've used initPy to insert a number of Python tools into the menu. In this example, we can use a naming tool to add a new word to the beginning of all the selected layers. And in this example, we can select a script to fit the surface to the 4 corners of our shape in the layer. We've also added a lot more access to the overall project parameters and user interface. See more details in the Python guide and reference. So let's just recap the new features inside Mocha 4.1. We have open splines for Mocha Plus and Mocha Pro, and they export out to After Effects for Mocha Plus, and Nuke and After Effects for Mocha Pro. We have the export to Nuke SplineWarp nodes, which helps you bring out those tracked Roto nodes for Spline Warps. We also have new control point selection shortcuts to easily jump between the next and previous control points in your splines. We have support for OpenEXR2 multipart files now, so you can import those multiparts and assign them to different streams. We have 3D camera solver improvements that really help the accuracy of those surface positions and the solve overall, but you can also now save and load those solves straight from Mocha. We've also got the new Python init.py script for Mocha Pro and a lot of API updates, so I do encourage you to check out that reference. Mocha Pro also introduces exporting shapes to the upcoming HitFilm 3 Pro, and we also have many other fixes and improvements. So that's what's new in Mocha 4.1. This is a free update for version 4 users, and if you're not yet on version 4, you can grab a trial from the Imagineer Systems website and try out the new features. This has been Martin Brennand, Product Manager for Imagineer Systems.